Okay.
Hello guys, this is Level Up session 24 with awesome Sandara Tang. Welcome, we are here with Darek.
Hello.
Creepy man. Jonas.
Hello.
Screen off. And our SMS Sandara.
Hi guys.
Welcome. Yeah, we are really happy to have you here today. It's really my pleasure. Jonas?
Not only yours.
Yeah, so we're welcoming Sandara, who's been kind enough to join us this Monday morning for her. Well, I guess for all of us.
Hello guys, this is Level
From
Up
Singapore.
session
Oh, sorry.
24 with awesome Sandara.
Yeah, I see it's late. My brain's a bit slower, so more technical problems today. Sandara, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And really happy to have you here. And can you maybe start by telling a little bit about yourself or about what you do?
Oh, okay. Hi everyone. Okay, first, thanks to Level Up guys for inviting me. Okay, so a little bit about myself. Sandara. I'm from Singapore, and I used to work a little bit in the game industry here. But now I'm teaching at DigiPen. Yeah. So in my free time, I just freelance and a bit of my personal work. Yeah. So basically.
It's so popular on DeviantArt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your work's always there. Every time I open the website, your work's there. Pinging us.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how exactly why I'm so there, but yeah, thanks guys.
So
You're
what?
just that good.
Yeah, I guess so. I was going to ask what exactly it is you are teaching your students.
Oh, just digital painting. So like later I have a class for just basic photo. Yeah, then basically it's just digital painting. Yeah.
So I guess my logical next question would be, why are we not seeing your class behind you? They should be.
I mean, this is the staff room.
This is the staff room. So yeah, we're basically streaming free education to the entire world except your class, because they're preparing to go to school right now.
I had to delay my class also.
Oh really? Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. I told them I'll start like half an hour later.
We should probably already apologize to your students in advance. Sorry, student. Sorry that we still.
Yeah, sorry. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the educational level in Singapore. It's okay. All right. So
yeah, it's okay, I guess.
Sandara is going to do a demo for us today, and then Wojtek is going to take the questions with Darek, and I'm going to do some overpainting. So when you're ready, Sandara, you can turn on your screen share. And
is this all right?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, if you have any questions to Sandara or to us regarding anything, just go ahead and post it into the YouTube's chat. I will pick the questions from there. And yeah, that's all. I hope you can see Sandara's screen.
Yeah.
That should work.
Is it okay? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
So do I just start now or?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Everybody's watching. No stress.
No, you guys are stressing me out. Okay. So I just talk as I paint then?
Just pretend you're doing your class in 2 hours.
Okay. Okay, so basically before I start anything, I usually have an idea of what I want to paint in mind. So this kind of saves time when I'm painting, so that I don't have to stop and think about anything. So it's like beforehand I've already decided what I want to paint, and then I just try to make the image as clear as possible in my mind before I start anything.
Okay.
So yeah. So usually this is my speed painting style. I guess I always do a speed paint this way. Usually for client work or character work, I'll do the the usual just a black outline or something like I'll do the outline first and then I'll do the base colors. But for this demo, I'll just start with blocking out the shapes first. Yeah. Yeah, I will also just color the background roughly the color that I want it to be, so that I don't get a white background, which is very very hard to paint with. So okay, so right now it's gonna be sort of like a forest scene. So I'm just blocking in the trees right now. Okay. Okay.
Sometimes you start with gathering references too, or trying to start with your imagination.
Yeah, in this case, I'm just starting with it's not really my imagination, but let me see. Yeah,
And with what you already know, right? Like.
Pardon? Yeah, it's like I just had an idea for this image. We're just looking at some plants and stuff. So it's going to be like kind of a jungle scene, but I'm not exactly going to use it directly as a reference. Just using this as inspiration. Maybe I'll use some of this as textures later. Yeah, but basically, for things that I kind of know how to paint, like trees and such, not exactly know, but it's easier for me. Then I don't really use a reference. But for stuff like characters and if I'm not sure about the pose or the anatomy, then yeah, I'll definitely get references. Yeah, but for this case, not really. Yeah, so yeah, my style of working is a bit messy as well. I don't really plan my layers or name them or anything like that. I just open layers as I go along. So I hope that's
Treat them a little bit more organically, right? It's like having a canvas in front of you, less like working in a Photoshop way.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm just saying that you are trying to work more organically, right? A little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, more organic.
Naturally, so whatever works.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't usually try to keep my layers neat or anything unless I have to pass this work on to somebody else or if the client requests for it. Yeah. If not, I'll just just flatten them as I go along, or just add new layers as I go along.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions that do not tackle this demo, but your life in general. So basically, I would just go ahead and ask them, and then we can go back to the demo. So you just basically can paint through. How is it living as an artist in Singapore, and what is the hardship you will have to go through to get where you are today?
Oh, okay. In Singapore, I think now it's a little bit better, but back then, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, most people have not even heard of this industry, so it's quite a young industry in Singapore.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you tell your parents like, oh, yeah, I want to be an artist, they'll be like, are you crazy? Yeah, most parents here, they just want their kids to be, I don't know, like doctors or lawyers or something, and then if you tell them you want to be an artist, they won't really be that supportive, I think. And the government also, back then, really, there weren't even any companies setting up here yet. But now we have like Lucas and ILM and Koei and Ubisoft, so it's actually better now. Yeah. So I would say, pardon?
It's growing, right?
Yeah, it's growing. It's growing. At least the government is trying a little bit to help the industry here, so it's not too bad. Yeah.
Awesome.
But in terms of education, it's still okay. I mean, like we do art in school and all that, and now there are art schools like FZD and my school DigiPen. So if you want to further your education, at least there's somewhere. And the polytechnics, they do have all this game design and art courses, so it's alright. Yeah, it's not like you have to study by yourself or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than in Europe. You can hardly find any good professional classes in Europe in terms of game design, digital painting. You can only think about a couple of workshops that are happening in Europe, but I don't think there are any, because for teaching that kind of stuff, I think you need an experienced professional to get the best knowledge through to people. So it's hard to be, I think, a teacher without being a professional and being good at it enough for people to get some really good knowledge through. So I just think it may be because of that. I mean, every tutor that I had before was in the first place a working professional that had, enough experience, and his work or her work was just outstanding. So I think that comes first, not being a teacher, but being actual passionate professional that has a desire to go further. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in Europe at least there's a lot more working professionals than in Singapore, because Singapore is so small. So like previously back then when I went to art school, LaSalle, right, the teachers, they didn't really have that much working experience. Like, there's no illustration or concept art courses back then, because there just wasn't the industry for people to get experienced in back then. Yeah.
So what particular school you have attended?
Okay, actually I have a diploma in engineering because that's what I studied first.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, I spent 3 years studying engineering and I have a diploma and all that, but later on I thought, yeah, maybe art is better. So
yeah,
so I switched to an art school. Yeah.
But you always been drawing or just drawing?
Yeah, I was always drawing, yeah, but only as a hobby, I guess. It wasn't taking it seriously at all. It's like I didn't know that whether or not I could find a job as an artist back then. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just just a hobby, something I do on weekends. Yeah.
I met a lot of people that actually have finished like course before and that have a diploma from just totally different kind, industry, different type of work. So what's interesting to me is like, do you find it beneficial? So do you find that engineering knowledge that somehow translates to your painting? Like, is there anything that you can bring back?
No.
No.
It was like literally 3 years wasted.
Okay. I mean, it's not a waste. It's needed for you to know that it's not that, actually.
Yeah, I guess there's that, but yeah, it's like, I always think like, oh, if only I had that 3 years to actually, train myself to be professional, I would be so much better now.
3 years is enough. Right now, I think 3 years is enough to get on a professional level from like, if you will be very hard on yourself, you can do it in 3 years. Like,
yeah, definitely.
And with today's tools, today's tutorials, I don't think it was possible like in 2000, but right now I think it's quite possible.
Yeah, now it is. There's a lot of help online, and there's always artists willing to help beginners and such. Yeah.
Exactly. I love how the community is changing right now. Actually, I haven't found any similar industry that has that community that is so open, so friendly and welcoming. Like, you can have people that are on low level of skill or high level on skill, and they are interacting with each other. They're not like fighting. Of course, there's some issues somewhere. There will be always some issues with the communities and stuff that people say and stuff that people do. But still, I think the concept art industry and the illustration industry are very, very friendly to people, very kind, and it's like everyone is helping each other. That's what I see. That's what I do as well. That's what I'm trying to get along. So I think that's so good to be around. That people, like, I know that there is an industry of like this, right? People that create logo types, create typography, that kind of stuff. And I'm wondering if that had changed, but it's actually very, very close community. From what I know, I may be mistaken, but I think it's very close, and it's very hard to get any knowledge about like logo design, good logo design, about like, maybe because it's so straightforward, but still, it's just an example of different type of communities that are still visual, but are just not as welcoming. Like, what I imagine by concept art and illustration communities is that big, bearded Viking guy with a beer in his hand, like welcoming you to his pub of painting. Like, you can paint whatever you want, buddy. Like, this is what I imagine concept art community to be like. Very friendly, stuff like that. Okay, let's finish that topic. Let's move to another question. That's really interesting one. What advice would you give to students or starting out artists in Singapore or anywhere else? As I know, Singapore is in a competitive country, and the growth of an artist has been cut due to the money issues. So basically, what advice would you give to the students and starting out artists?
In general, I guess for students, they need to practice really a lot because they're just starting out. So like for example, my art school here, they learn like illustration as well as 3D and all that. So they don't really have much time to practice. So I guess you need to be very clear what you want, what kind of style you want to go for. Do you want to do 2D or 3D? And yeah, it's a little bit more competitive here because, like I said, it's a small country and there's not really that many companies setting up here. So to get a full-time job here is not it's more competitive than other countries, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you need to be really good to get a job here. Yeah. And
yeah,
I don't know, to students,
work
basically
harder.
just work harder. Yeah, basically.
Basically, work harder. If you work 8 hours a day, work 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, do not die. Eat, sleep, paint, repeat. All right. Another question.
Right, I have a question to Sandara.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, man.
About your class, maybe can you tell us a bit more about your schedule, how the students are working on their skills, and how do you arrange everything? What are the most focused thing that they have to do? Can you tell us a bit more about your classes?
Okay. For my students, there's this kind of basic Photoshop painting classes where because some of them have not touched Photoshop before, so just go through the basics with them, and then later on there's some illustration courses where we can paint more advanced things. Yeah, but mostly for our students here, it depends on the module. Some modules are like character design, so that one is more design based. But for the classes I teach, is more technical. Like make sure they at least have some techniques where they can at least paint something.
Mm-hmm. So what about the traditional drawing or painting? Are you also doing it?
Yeah, no, I'm not in charge of those, but we do have it for our foundation classes. So in the first year, that's what all the students do. They don't touch anything digital. It's all traditional, pencils and paint and all that. Yeah, so to hopefully build up a foundation for them, because a lot of our students they don't really come with that foundation. They just like games or they like anime or whatever, and then but they don't really have a art foundation. Like they didn't do it in school or they just did it in their own time. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to train it up for them. Help them along first, so they at least get the basics right first. Yeah, before they even touch.
So are they doing also like still life studies and modeling?
Yes.
Model paintings?
Yeah, they do
Nice.
all that, like still life and all that. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. But it's still, but I feel it's still not enough. Like it's just not enough just by attending classes. You got to do it on your own as well. Because like you just paint once a week, it's not going
of
to be
course.
enough for the students. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what you are doing right now? Just tiny overview. What are you thinking about in terms of
Oh,
design?
yeah. So right now I'm just blocking out the shapes, trying to get the lighting right and all that. Um, yeah, just trying to lock down the colors and the lighting, the values. Speaking of values, yeah. This. Yeah. Usually I don't paint in black and white first, although I know some people do. But I just have a layer to toggle on and off just to see whether the values are enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really popular trick to really check your value structure if it's working. It's hard to judge values in color only, right? It can trick your
Yeah.
eye.
It's a matter
Yeah,
of
it'll trick your eyes, especially. Yeah.
Another question. If you were a new artist in the current industry, what would you do to help develop and push yourself to a higher standards of art?
Well, if you're new and you want to break into the industry, first you have to see what the professionals are doing in the industry and check whether your own art standard is up to up to the industry standard first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you're a new artist, what will you do to develop?
So
Yeah,
what
and
would you
it's like
do? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
it's like it depends on exactly what current industry you want to join. Like if you want to be an illustrator and work on card illustrations, then you just got to make sure that your standard is up to what the client those companies want. Right? If you just want to join an indie company, then just make sure your style matches whatever they want. Yeah. It's like if you want to work in Ubisoft, then you got to just learn to match their style so that yeah, it's kind of rare that we get students who are so strong in their own individual styles that companies would hire them for that. Usually it's the other way around, like we try to match the company style instead of them coming to you because your style is so unique or something.
Yeah, so this is one form of making a career in the industry, right? You can work for companies, but have you actually ever
Yeah.
thought about creating your own IP, your own idea, or your own book, your own world that you can live off from and you can, develop? Have you ever considered? I think you probably did, but let's talk about
Yeah,
it.
sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do have my own, little world which I thought up, and then, occasionally I'll draw something for it. But for IP is like, I'm not very sure like what one can do with it. Like, yeah, maybe we can just come up with a art book for it or something. But yeah, anything further, and I'm not very sure. I mean, it's not like you can sell the rights to it to make a movie or something. I don't know. I mean, I think previously there were some companies in Singapore that were trying this. Like they will get the artist to generate some IP and then they will try to sell it. Yeah, I guess it's viable if the IP is good.
You are
If the
pretty
idea is good, I
fast,
guess.
as we can see with your demo right now. So how long does it take you to finish the very detailed piece?
It again depends on the subject matter. If it's something like dragons, which I find easier, it'll be faster. But if it is something like a pretty girl or something like yeah, I find it really hard to draw a pretty girl, so it'll take forever. You got to make changes and all that. Yeah. So, but and for average, I guess is about 7 to 8 hours to finish one illustration. Yeah.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
not
But
that
I've
long.
gone up to like 20 over hours. Yeah.
Yeah, it can exhaust your art module. You can just
Yeah, it's like by
die
then you'll be so
in there.
tired of it already.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I can so relate to that right now.
So, yeah, Wojtek, go ahead.
I have a couple of another questions. Do you think being a professional artist is a talent or just hard work?
Um, I would say both. Hard work is like really important, maybe more important than talent, because you really got to have the correct work ethic. I mean, it is, of course it's good if you are already good at drawing, you find it easy and you can work fast. But if you are not hardworking, then it's like I don't know. Hardworking, if you're lazy and you don't take up projects, or if you're working in a company but your work ethic is bad, then all the talent in the world is not going to help you. People will just not like you.
Yeah.
So it's like, working for clients, you got to be on time, you got to be professional, right? Even though you're talented and a good artist, but if you're always late on deadlines and such, it's not going to help your career very much as well. But of course, yeah, talent will help you get a head start, I guess. But the rest of it is just hard work, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It can be just a good starter. So what I consider talent is maybe like your taste or your attitude or the way you think, or maybe something like that. Is the mixture of those. It's like maybe visual intelligence that you can connect, you can remember better.
Yeah.
The mixture of those skills, I think
Mhm.
that's the talent. Like ability to apply knowledge as well, how fast you
Yeah.
can process the like knowledge. Yeah, so basically that's means, I think.
Mhm.
Or
The thing about talent is that a lot of times talent comes with sort of passion or being really driven. Those things often go hand in hand, and that's actually
Yep.
something that makes it really important as well, because you know your brain can function better and you can think maybe faster and stuff, or understand things faster. But being passionate and driven to make art is going to automatically, have you do it all the time, because it becomes sort of an obsession. So the
Yeah.
talent and the getting better a lot faster sort of, get pushed because of that.
Yeah, but I mean, I have seen students who are people who are talented, but they are lazy, so they don't get anywhere. Yeah, so it's really both. Yeah, I mean, it's quite rare to find the person who actually pushes himself. Uh, he knows he's good, but he always works hard and stuff like that. Usually, it's the other way around. Like they know he's good, so they tend to like slack off a little bit because they can always do it last minute. Yeah.
But you think that's just students or people in general?
Um.
People who are not like that at all.
Yeah, I think some people are like that. So, I mean, of course, some people are really driven and such, but there's always some who are just like, they just slack off. Huh?
yeah, I haven't met accomplished artist that wasn't crazy about his or her profession. Just
Yeah.
I just haven't met one.
Mhm.
They were all freaks about the work they do. Like they just love it so much, and they do it all the time. There's no exception to
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I guess that's the mark of a good artist, I guess. You just can't stop doing it, no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're watching it for the first time, we are doing weekly live stream sessions with industry professionals, doing that kind of demos, answering questions. We have a website with everything we do. It's called fusroda.com, and you can find all the sessions in there. You can find the really cool resources page. Uh, we put all the information, all the useful links, all the books in there that our guests or we mentioned during the session. So feel free to go there. We also have a Facebook group page which consists like 17,000 people right now. You can submit your paintings in there to get a critique from community or to get a pick for level up session. So if you're enjoying that session right now, please subscribe to the channel or go to Facebook, check out the group, or go to fusroda.com and enjoy. All right, let's go to another question. Maybe a little bit more technical. Do you work with custom Photoshop shortcuts, or you work with default ones, or you use some different tools?
Yeah, no, I don't really do shortcuts like you can see. Lazily pressing the toolbar here, because usually I'm just too lazy to set up my own custom things.
What?
The only custom things I have are the brushes, I guess.
Okay. So you have
Yeah,
a
I know.
particular
I know I should.
But you are still fast without it.
Yeah, I guess, but I guess I should set up the shortcuts, but just too lazy to set them up.
So
I was still
you,
thinking that, oh, for this demo I should really do something like show off the shortcuts, but it's like, never mind.
Jonas is a king of shortcuts, though.
Yeah, I know.
King of making.
Like he did this brush thing where you can.
Yeah. Yeah. How is the progress on that digital speed painting panel, Jonas? How is it going?
Well, I added a new brush called the secret brush.
Oh snap! So it gets the painting done for you.
Well, actually, can you share my screen for just a minute?
Of course.
so you are applying right now the textures in some details, right, Sandara?
Yes,
Dark, give us a
yes,
moment.
just putting.
I've just switched to Jonas' screen.
Okay, okay.
So do you see the question mark in the bottom?
Wait.
Yeah, secret brush.
Yeah.
This secret brush.
Oh snap!
This
So
is
Thank you.
yes. Okay, you want to know what secret brush is? It
So there is a secret brush. Go ahead.
just picks a random brush from your entire brush set. Every time
Oh.
a different random brush. So basically every brush you own is the secret brush.
Oh snap, man! This is so deep.
This is some deep philosophy right here. Yeah.
Oh god, it's
You
awesome.
can go back to Sandara now.
When will you release that freaking tool? It's looking
Hopefully
amazing.
soon, man. Hopefully soon.
It's like with the web page, right?
Yeah.
Pretty soon, right?
2 months later.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
And you know, every time if someone asks me about it, I just play the "it's free" card, and then it's silent. It's like, yeah, okay.
So what I can feature right now is the intro we are working on. I think we are working on it, right? Like, you have our audio to our intro. We will make it our channel trailer or something.
Yeah.
We played it last week, but the sound quality wasn't very good because we
It
haven't.
was just a teaser.
Yeah, we haven't figured out how to do it properly yet. But
Yeah,
we're
and
gonna
we
have
will
to.
create some visuals to that, like really over-the-top stuff. So I hope it will work fine. Just give
Don't
us
tell
some
more.
time.
Don't tell more.
Yeah. So back to you, Sandara. You
Yes.
are starting like to detail the piece step by step.
Yeah. Adding
Yeah.
the textures.
Yes. There's gonna be a person standing here, but I haven't drawn it in yet. Yeah, it's gonna be someone here.
I can see you have created like very natural lines going merely to your focal point, right? So it happens unconsciously for you, or you probably thought about like creating the focal point in there. You have created the spotlight as well.
Yeah, for this is very simple composition. There's just like everything is just going inwards to here, and then the light's just coming down to the focal point right in the middle. Yeah, so it's very simple composition, and there's nothing fancy here. Yeah, so
Yeah, but it's working.
yeah. I think I better add my characters in as well. When I think of an illustration, I usually just try to think of a story that is in the illustration, so that people have something to think about. Like usually I just try to make like there is something happening, but there's some characters interacting in there or something. Yeah, just to make it interesting, I guess.
Okay. There's another cool question. What advice can you give to schedule this hard work that artists have to do? Can you give an example of an everyday personal training, like maybe what you're
like what I do every day?
I mean, what would you do to get better as fast as possible without dying? Yeah. So basically, what kind of schedule would you recommend?
They're not allowed to die.
You know, you just work as hard as possible. No, yeah, I get it. Usually, you just try to set a target for yourself, like, decide what you want to paint. I think it's quite important to visualize first what you want to paint, like practice visualization, because I see a lot of students or people, like, you tell them to draw something, but they don't know what to draw, so they just spend a lot of time just fiddling around with the image. Yeah, but for my schedule, usually if I don't have class, I will just sit in my office and paint until it's time to go home. Yeah.
Wow.
I guess it might be useful. I have no life. Because I have a kid as well, a 3-year-old boy, my son. So between my kid and work and freelance is like, that's it. That's my life. My very sad life.
No, you are just devoted. It's not sad at all. It's your passion.
Yeah, it's like if you want to go down this road, there's really, I guess, I mean, is if you, I think it's harder for females or like for girls to go into art, because along the way, if you want a family, then you got to devote time to that as well. Yeah, so yeah, I was thinking over it, like, between guys and girls, what's the difference? Maybe for girls, it's like if you're going to stop and start a family, it's going to be harder for you to juggle, between your family and drawing and work if you have work. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's for.
But
I don't know if guys get the same way as well.
Well, I mean, guys need families too, right?
Mhm. Yeah, but it's like, when you're pregnant and you have a kid, you got to stay at home and
Okay.
look after the kids and such. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's the hard, a little bit more difficult once you get a bit older and start a family. Yeah, it's just you just got to juggle all this stuff.
Sandara, have you always been a fast painter, or is it something that you evolved with during time or getting more knowledge?
Yeah, back then, when I was just a kid, I did a lot of watercolors. But basically, it was just like copying off from books and stuff like that. Digital painting was probably started, like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah, back then when I was younger, there was a lot of drawing of manga and stuff like that. Yeah, basically what kids do. Yeah, but yeah, digital painting thing is relatively new, I guess.
Okay, so you have.
And also when I was a kid, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger and I didn't think that I would go into this professionally, I just drew whatever I like. So I drew a lot of animals. So that's why I find it easier now for me to draw like creatures and dragons, because when I was a kid, I did so much of that. And I really hated drawing humans back then. So now it's super hard for me to draw humans because I just didn't have the practice back then. Yeah.
So you have traditional background to your skills, right? You have first draw in like pencils, watercolor, painted with watercolors, like you said.
Yeah, that's right.
So, what exactly? How long was the gap between starting to paint digitally and getting professional work?
It was actually quite. If you count professional work to be like just commissions, then it was pretty fast, because back then it's like, people just want you to draw their characters and stuff like that. Yeah, so back then, even back when I almost just started, yeah, I did some commissions, and back then there wasn't PayPal, so they would just mail me the money, like US dollars, in the envelope, and I would have to go to the bank to bank it in. Yeah, so it's actually not that hard, but I mean, if you mean professionally by working for big companies, or doing freelance for big companies, then yeah, that takes a little bit longer, because you need to build up your portfolio to have something that the companies will actually want. Like I say, like building up styles that's suitable for companies. Like if you draw anime and stuff, you're not going to get freelance from those Western companies that don't really want that kind of thing.
If you are aiming to do more freelancing instead of working for a company, because you said that if you want to work for a specific company, you have to mimic the style a bit, right? So what if you want to work as a freelancer? Would you still want to develop a specific style, subject matter, or would you want to have a versatile portfolio?
It really, I guess it really depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you just want people to commission you for your particular style, then you should just build on that. But if you want a variety of freelance works, like from many different clients, like Japanese clients and US clients, then your portfolio has to reflect, I guess, a more diverse style, or at least a diverse subject matter, so that you actually get more jobs that way. If you're not picky about the jobs, yeah. I mean, if they see that, oh, you can draw characters and creatures and sci-fi and fantasy, then you just open up more options for yourself, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of rights or wrongs about like creating a concept art portfolio or illustration portfolio. Some say that you have to mimic the style of the company you want to work for. Someone is saying that you have to have your own style. Like different people say different things that sometimes contradict each other, and it's different. It's just basically what's the ideal, I think. It's to create art that is yours, like that is you basically, and then fit the job to your style. I think that is less frustrating than any other way around. That may be hard
I
to
think
find.
I guess developing a style that's not very wildly different, like if it's kind of fits commercial style, I guess that's okay. You don't really have to exactly follow the the company style, but it shouldn't be too far off. Otherwise, it'll be I guess it'll be a bit odd.
Still have to match the overall taste of the
I guess so.
It cannot be in modern art, right? It cannot be squared.
Yeah.
2 squares or something. For $20,000 or even more, 2 million. Nice. I'm so ignorant. So ignorant. I'm so happy being so ignorant. Right. All right. Let me pick another question. Okay, that one works. How are the overpaints going, guys? Do you think you can show anything to us, or you want me still to go through questions?
I'm just working on one, but maybe a few more minutes to show anything.
Sure. So, Sandara, let me ask you about the story you have in mind in here.
Right.
What's happening? What's the story that you want to tell?
Okay. Basically, there's going to be a dead guy here. This is a dead guy. And there's going to be little dragons coming out here. And
yes, dragon.
There's going to be little dragons coming towards him, right? And there's these lines of dragons, and there's going to be a dead stag here with an arrow in him. So it's like the stories, like he shot the deer, and then the forest is angry, and they're coming to eat him or something.
Nice. So there is a really complex story to it. I really love the way you planned it out before, like you said, right? You thought?
Yeah, I plan for.
Yeah, what you want to do exactly before you started.
Yeah.
There's another artist.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, guys. Speak up.
But sometimes you are also changing your idea or while evolving the picture.
I try not to deviate too far off because otherwise, it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very rare where I think of something but I deviate away from it. Maybe only a little bit, but yeah, basically it will stay the same. Yeah. I mean
So
the idea is there.
So the same about the composition. You don't change anything in there while working
Um,
on it, or?
yeah, I mean until I paint it out and I realize that oh maybe it's not working so well, then I will change it. But if not, I'll just keep it as it is, as I imagine. Yeah.
I just want to tackle that pre-visualization stage. Could you speak a little bit about how do you practice that? Because I know it comes within practice, that ability to really see images in your head. So
Yep.
with me, it was a little bit happened not far along. So it's pretty new thing to me to just see the picture in there and okay, I can see and feel the mood. So what do you do to practice that?
What I do to practice that? I I think it's probably I read a lot. I read a lot of like fantasy and sci-fi books and stuff like that. So if the author is good, as you read, you can actually see the images in your head. So I think that might be a good way to practice this kind of visualization. Yeah, basically for me, I think for me is I read a lot, so you know maybe it comes from there, like being able to see whatever the author is talking about. Yeah. Other than that, usually I come up with an idea. It looks vague at first, but I spend a few days thinking over it, and it just gets clearer, as time goes by. Yeah. Then
Exactly.
yeah, I usually spend like a couple of days thinking over it, that kind of thing.
Probably the more time you will spend figuring out the story, the composition before starting to paint, it will actually save you some time later on in paint,
Yeah.
like moving stuff around and messing it up.
Yeah, I guess.
Go ahead.
It's nice of you that you are reading a lot and try to show your own idea or how the author already written it, because we had a lot of people that mostly were inspired by the actual visualizations like movies or the games.
Oh yeah, because with movies it's
it's
somebody
already
else's vision.
it's already presented, and I always thought it's very cool to read something or try to find something interesting in one exact fragment of the book or some text.
Yeah, because with books it's like everybody will read it a different way, so it's I guess it's good practice for visualization. And if the book is good, you can always draw fan art from it. And people will like it. Yeah.
Jesus, I'm so slow right now.
Maybe because it's like 2 a.m. in here.
Yeah, and all day painting, so just fucked up.
No horses. No.
No horses today.
Star Wars, right?
Yeah, no horses today.
No horses, but some forces.
Forces, right? Yeah. I'm just a bit tired.
The force is with you, man, today. Your speed paints are just mind-blowing. The one with Jango Fett, Boba Fett, sorry.
Who says that? Who says that?
Come on. We are all Star Wars fans. I mean, yeah.
I devoted all my week last time to see all the saga. with Star Wars, and it was very cool to refresh it. And that's the day of the Star Wars today, so just paint.
I'm really excited for the new episode that they're doing. Have you seen the photo with like a cast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like they got Harrison Ford back, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
But if they abandon the extended universe, I don't know if it works very cool. I'm very, not that positive, but I'm not crossing it.
I read a lot of books from EU, and it was, it was awesome for a kid that was growing up with like Star Wars in mind, but it was a little bit over the top, I think. Sometimes, it was too contradicting, like Palpatine resurrecting shit and 6 Palpatines or something. It's not that attractive. So, who is writing the script right now? I think is a guy that wrote Empire Strikes Back, and along with J.J. Abrams, which is, I think, a good start for a story. I hope there will be no Mickey Mouse or Pluto or stuff like that. Yeah, that was some Star Wars going on.
All right,
let's skip Star Wars for today. It's enough.
Yeah. Till the overpaint.
Do the overpaint with my mouse. Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe some beneficial stuff. Okay, so we can see the guy in the scene. Nice. So how exactly do you think about color right now? Is it like a little bit connected with what you want to tell, the colors you assign to specific things, or this is just intuitive what you're doing? So.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just talking about
okay. The colors. Well, basically, it has to do with the story, I guess. Like the whole forest is greenish, yellowish, and so, the guy is an outsider, so he will be a little bit more red, I guess. The color is not the same as the rest of the forest. Yeah. Yeah, this piece is a bit monochromatic. Like it's mostly just green. Yeah. But yeah, usually the color will have something to do with the mood or the story a little bit.
Alright, let's get back to questions. For you, which one is harder, freelancing or working in-house? What do you prefer to do?
I would say, well, actually it's about the same. It depends on the subject matter. Like I mentioned, if I'm required to draw girls, then it's going to be hard, regardless of whether it's freelance or in-house. Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess freelance, yeah, it's about the same basically. In terms of deadlines or whatever, I'll usually just try to meet the deadlines. Yeah, it's just mostly the subject matter for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Sandara actually worked on the same project, didn't we? Because we're both in a members of a Taiwanese-based group.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But unfortunately for me, Sandara's images overwhelmed mine so drastically.
What?
Yeah. And it was really funny because
but it's like
Reign of Dragons. When I went to visit my brothers last year in Australia, he was actually really addicted to it, but he didn't know that we were working on it or that I was working on it.
Oh, yeah, that's the company which makes me draw the girls, and it's so
really
hard. Yeah, it's like so difficult. It's like and the Japanese, they have a very high standard for pretty girls.
Yeah.
So it's much harder to freelance for a Japanese company and they want you to draw a pretty girl than for a US company and they ask you to draw a pretty girl. It's totally different.
Ask Wojtek, he's doing Applebot pretty girls, so he knows all about it.
Yeah, Applebot's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Applebot are pretty girls. My dog is drinking water and it's like all over the house. Shut up, you dog. Go to sleep. Alright, sorry for that. Guys, if you have any more questions, feel free to put them on a chat. I'm just looking for any cool questions.
How many people do we have right now?
Question that appear that we ask what?
How many people do we have right now? Just asking.
I mean, you have it on the YouTube. You
I'm just doing overpaint.
You're so ignorant, man. I'm running a show in here, and you're like, go do your overpaint, man. I'm trying to ask questions to our guests to really notice. All right. So the question that we ask every guest, it's very hard.
Yes.
It's very deep. So, would you rather be Godzilla or a billionaire?
I'd rather be a billionaire. Billionaire. Yes, I want money.
Okay, billionaire. Noted that. We had a lot of Godzillas recently.
Really?
Yeah.
But Godzilla gets shot at and attack. Yeah.
Yes, you're more smart.
Not practical, right? Being a Godzilla. But, you can smash things.
It's not practical.
Okay, so we got Godzilla covered. Is there anything else? Yeah, people are enjoying your demo so far. Like, this is one of the best demos on Level Up, I think.
Really?
You are so fast and it's so effective. It's very straightforward and yes, it is. I mean, we had almost like 60 hours of Level Up to the date, and I'm enjoying it pretty much so far, so it's awesome. Yeah, the dragon, right? So you tend to paint a silhouette first, and then you fill it in with...
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Actually, the lasso thing is like quite recent. I didn't used to use the lasso tool, but it's actually really good using the lasso.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like last time I used to fiddle around with the edges forever.
Do you have a certain motivation that thrusts you into art when you were younger? So, was there anything that was a breaking point for you, like the turning point, where you just clicked?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably the game Final Fantasy VII.
Yes!
And then after I played that, I was like, I must work in this industry. It's not gonna be a hobby anymore, because it was mind blowing. It's like you can get, images and graphics to do this, to tell a story. It's like, and then after that there were all the fan art. Then I was like, oh, I must learn to do this in Photoshop. Yeah.
You are the best person in the world, Sandara.
Really?
Because you said that. I'm actually going to see a live symphonic orchestra of Final Fantasy VII music next weekend.
Oh, okay.
So I hope I get to meet the man. I really hope I get to meet him. I'm gonna cry if I meet Matsu.
You will meet him. Like, I think he came to Singapore before, and then they did the whole symphonic thing. Final Fantasy was like, it's already like mind blowing. You listen to it live, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole.
A little bit more. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna talk about Final Fantasy, like the whole series. It was like, yeah, the story and everything. It was like transformed my life, man. 5, 6, and 7 were my favorites. Yeah, but nowadays it's horrible. It's gone. I
Yeah,
mean, in my opinion, the later ones were terrible. It's like,
yeah,
what have you done?
yeah, I agree.
It's funny
Yeah.
because you're talking about Final Fantasy, and for me it was Star Wars. So I can tell you the same. Like it wasn't good with Star Wars recently, what they were doing. So it's pretty popular to fuck up really good IPs recently. Like something that we are really connected to because of our childhood and because maybe of just of the sentiment that we have to the emotions that it provided.
Yeah, like
Yeah. And
yeah,
then
like
they're
Transformers,
destroying it.
right?
Yeah.
Like Transformers is
Yeah.
like, what have you done to my childhood?
Exactly. That cartoon. Ah. Okay. So, are you working on Wacom Intuos or Cintiq, or what are you working on?
Yeah, it's the Intuos 4. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Intuos
I
4.
can't get the hang of a Cintiq. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Wacom is just a standard in the industry,
Mhm.
right? You
Yeah.
cannot see that many. I don't even know any other
Yeah.
company
I
that
don't know.
needs. They're monopolists right now.
Mhm.
Okay, a little bit different topic, which is art theft. Have you?
Oh.
How do you deal with art theft? What advice would you give to avoid having your art used without your permission?
Uh. Yeah. Usually, it's difficult because I don't watermark my images because I thought it will spoil the image or something. It's not so nice. So yeah, it's like people usually tell me that, oh, so and so has stolen your stuff, and usually I just stop it. Try to stop them if they're actually selling my works. But if it's just some kid, just posting it as his own, usually I'll just warn them a little bit. I tell them, hey, stop that, and I'll just ignore them. Yeah. But so far, I haven't had really any very bad art thefts before. Usually, if some guy steals art and then he tries to sell it, usually people will just, close him down. So yeah, so far it's all right. Haven't had any.
Okay. So it's not, even though you're so popular, you haven't
Mm-hmm.
experienced that much of the art thefts, right?
Yeah, mainly it's just kids, taking the images and saying that, oh, I drew this or something like that. But they're just kids, so yeah. So usually I'll just
Yeah,
drop them a
funny.
note and tell them to stop it. Yeah.
Um, hmm.
Because it's like, what can you do, if the companies that are doing it are in China or in the US. It's not like I'm in Singapore. It's like I can drop them an email, but most of the time they'll just ignore it. I don't know what do you guys do if somebody steals your work?
Jonas, do you have some experience with that? You probably do, right?
Yeah, but it's usually not being sold. I haven't really found stuff that's really being sold without my permission. I've also had times where someone warns me about something, and I send them an email, and I'm like, "Hey, this work is copyrighted," and they're like, "Yeah, we know. We signed a contract with you and paid you for the rights." I was like, "Oops. Yeah, I guess I did." I'm just so forgetful sometimes, and it's sometimes like a year before that it happened. So, yeah. But no, generally it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jonas, can you tell us a little bit about the Hammercross project? Just a tiny bit. What's happening?
I can tell you that I must be drunk this week because, first of all, I put the event on the wrong hour. when I was there yesterday. And then I was writing the project guide on a separate page on our Level Up website, but somehow I was actually writing it on the main page. Don't ask me how I did it. I'm just so I had to take it down again. But I've basically written up most of the project guide, but I just need to gather more reference and stuff. It's just it's taking a lot of time to prepare it properly. But I'm gonna there's gonna be a Facebook group and there's gonna be a Level Up page. And we're just gonna have fun modeling stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. If you need any help, hit me up. I mean, you already have a lot of volunteers for the project, right?
Yeah, we have about 100 people now.
Nice.
It's really nice. But I will post more announcements about it when it's actually getting started. And then hopefully some more people will join. And then we can talk more about it in detail.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yep.
Maybe you can just briefly talk about Hammercross. What is it for those who don't know?
Yeah. Sorry. I guess that was the main question, right?
No. I was just asking for progress, but if you can explain what's happening with the project.
So I'm basically just doing a project where I'm, it's kind of an extension of Level Up, where we're trying to do stuff with the community and we're trying to promote sort of a peer-to-peer mentality and doing things for free to help each other. And I thought, why not extend it to the 3D world as well, because we're doing a lot of stuff for Photoshop painting and stuff. But 3D is very important. And so in my line of work, I have to do quite a lot of fancy architecture, like fantasy cities or villages or castles or whatever. And they're pretty tricky to paint. I mean, they take a lot more time than landscapes. And you can find photo textures and stuff, but doing it in 3D gives you a lot more advantages. There's some really amazing art from games like Assassin's Creed or recently Thief, and if you look at those concept arts, if you can make that kind of stuff with some 3D software, you can really go far. So I thought, why not create a pack of free models that allows you to build all this stuff, and that's really high quality and really diverse and versatile. Yeah. And so I started to think about how that could be done. And if you look online, what you'll find if you want looking for medieval 3D models is you'll find a house and you'll find another little scene like a well with some barrels or something. But they're all very specific assets, and they're really expensive, and different styles and stuff, and it's kind of crap to do anything with it. I haven't really been able to do anything good with it. And I was looking through. I was looking at this game called Gear of Wars, and talking with someone about it. I can't remember, but basically Gear of Wars uses a modular system, the way that the game is constructed. So everything is some very small parts, and the whole game world is built with small parts. And I thought, like, yeah, that's interesting, because if you break down a building, you can actually make it up of a lot of small parts, that are the same in essence in every building. You have walls, you have doors, you have window frames, windows, you have cornices, and all that stuff. So yeah, basically the Hammercross project is going to be where we all work together to build this super modular system that allows us to create magnificent looking medieval cities. That's the plan.
Awesome.
But yeah, the project guide's going to explain all that more in detail, because it's a lot.
Sounds so good, man. Another free resource, another free initiative. Yeah, I think it's great. Like looking for 3D assets that you can actually fluently use in your 3D software is quite a pain right now. So you can find models, but they're not consistent. They are in a little bit different style, with different formats, different resolution. It's just strange.
Yeah, I mean, you can bash stuff together, but I don't know. It's just, if you have something that's consistent and really high quality, yeah, it's just going to be so much better what you can do with it. And I think this project's really gonna work. It's gonna be really cool. People are gonna love it.
Oh man, that 2 a.m. thing is going on for me.
The what?
2 a.m. thing. 2 a.m. thing. Okay, so we can see some more work on dragons right now.
Yep.
So you tend to zoom in, right, as you go, but
Yeah.
I saw you not zooming at all for the most of the creation process.
Yeah.
So you do it not to be distracted by details, or what?
Yeah, that's right. I try to get all the big shapes down first, and for that I need to zoom out so that you get a nice overview of the whole image. So like, you know, you get all the shapes and the lighting out first, just the shapes. Then later on, once everything is locked down, the lighting and the shapes, then I just zoom in to work on the details. Because, you know, by then everything is there already. I don't have to think so much about it anymore. Because
Right.
if I were to zoom in and work on it bit by bit, then I might lose track of the overall picture. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Looks awesome so far. I love the shapes you created for the dragons. You're so fast with those. I mean, yeah, what I also love about almost all of your pieces is the really flowy compositions. I mean, you tend to navigate the eye in the specific rhythm with all your line compositional lines,
Mhm.
of course, and stuff like that. It's really pleasing to the eye. It's like your eye is on the really nice. I don't know how can I compare it to
Yeah,
anything,
it's
but
like it's like
it's
once
really
you
smooth
decide
and
on where the
natural.
hmm I just try to always point towards the focal point. I mean, it's a bit cheap, but yeah, it's just try to everything, you know, it's pointing towards them. Like, you know, dragons are looking this way, the trees are pointing this way, so that when you look at the image, you see this first, then you see, you know, this, then you see the dragons, and I mean, you see this, then you zoom out a little bit more and you see this, and then, you know, the rest is just really loose, very relaxed and loose. All the detailing will be only around this area, and the rest will be just, you know, very rough. I mean, that's usually how I focus, pull the focus for my images.
So to build up that detail work, so basically sometimes it's like, it will be hard to create that question, but mm, I just want to tackle the detail part of the picture versus undetailed part of the picture, right? So to
Mm-hmm.
make a piece look finished, you
Yes.
need a certain amount of detail
Yes.
overall, right?
Yes.
And then
Yep.
some in the focal point. How do you manage to make it look finished and being rough at the same time and loose in those specific areas? How does it happen?
Okay, like usually I will decide, like, you know, this part is going to be this part is going to be my, well, let me just make a brighter color. Right, if this part is going to be my focal point, like right here, right? So usually I would try to detail this part as much as possible, and then slowly as the eye draws out, you know, to this part, then so these guys here will have less detail than this, but they will have more detail than here. So it's like slowly, here will be the highest amount of detail and the sharpest. The image will be the sharpest, and then slowly will just relax outwards. So wherever the focal point is, that's my strategy. So here will be very detailed. So I'll just try my best to, you know, detail them up nicely, and then the dragons, and then the rest I'll just let it be loose and rough. Yeah, because it's not that important. Yeah, basically that's how I do it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really straightforward, but a lot of people tend to get lost in such a simple ideas that are we tend to overcomplicate the composition sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's really it's really refreshing to see you navigate through those rules and getting it done so fluently and so smooth without, I mean, it's just years of practice.
Yeah, I mean, this composition is actually a little bit boring. I know I see you guys, your works, the composition is very unique and difficult to work with sometimes. So yeah, it's like, sometimes I find if I have to do a strange composition like the camera angle, yeah, then it takes a little bit longer for me to do that because, you got to get everything to look correct.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of just showing your technique or your how do you work, I mean, this is just more than enough. It's just awesome, I think. Yeah. Okay, different subject, and our subject right now will be Darek. So, Darek, are you done?
No, but I think that I can show something.
Okay, great. So, can I switch to your screen for a while? Okay, so we are going from Sandara's screen to Darek's face and Darek's screen, I hope. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
So
Star
originally,
Wars.
yeah, it was just one of the few pictures on our group with Star Wars Dem connected, and it was by Marku Kankaniemi, and I just left the same kind of composition with tilted canvas and the one pose of the trooper shooting somewhere in the battle and the army behind him. But I thought it was like, just everything was very very bright, and the separation of values didn't exist on this one. So I made the more focused light and the picture like a whole, I guess, and adding the clean shapes of the ships going on, which are still very very rough, and I want to detail them a bit. And I left the same kind of the trooper in the foreground and try to match the colors because the shading wasn't even there. Like everything was pretty white, and yeah, like the troopers have the white armors, but they need to connect with the area which is enlightened and shadow, and it needs to work pretty together, I guess. So I think the most important thing is to make the strong connection between the values and the light and the colors, because it doesn't exist in the nature if something is very bright, like the armor of the trooper, and everything around every part of that armor is the same shaded. And this is something like Sandara just started with her picture. Making a gradient on background can help you very simply and very quickly establish the lighting. So you can check how strong is the light for pretty close to the source, and where the light is going farther, the source of the light is it's not that strong. So the parts are very shaded, but still not that dark with pure black or something, because it's just the armor, the white armor, and it has to be shaded right, connected to the light. So I think it still needs some work on it, but I cleaned up all the composition and try to keep the same feeling of the original one, but with separated structure.
A little bit, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I just enhanced it.
I have a question though. It's really important, I think. Do they have horses in Star Wars?
No, but they have some animals that look like camels. It was in the first episode, I guess.
Yeah, man. So.
Yeah, but they were the animals that Republic only used, and Jedi, not Imperial.
Yeah, that's a good tip. I mean,
yeah.
Star Wars fans all the way, right? Awesome. All right. Thank you, man. Looks good, and I like your advices about painting white objects.
Yeah. I will try to be more precise when I will done it. When I finish it.
Sure, man. Sure. It's a Star Wars day. I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you covered it. Jonas, how is your piece going?
Yeah, let's have a look at it.
I switched to your screen already.
Okay, let me just turn on the screen share.
Let's take a quick glimpse back on Sandara's screen. Okay, Jonas, back to you.
So this is a piece by someone with the same name as me.
Oh,
his last name. What's that?
I think it goes from.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a piece by Jonas Peralta, and I think I read that it was inspired by The Last of Us, and it's pretty nice actually, but I felt like it was a bit flat, which I guess you have on an overcast day, but generally video games, definitely The Last of Us, add a lot more mood or atmosphere into it. So I tried to change that completely, the atmosphere. But I thought the composition was pretty good. So this is my overpaint.
You changed it completely.
Yeah,
I mean the main composition is still there.
Yeah. You just added a mood, right?
Yeah, I just added lighting, and actually I also added some black bars to make it more cinematic. I think you probably see it better if I just thought it was a bit. This is actually the original. Sorry. So I thought it was a bit too open and too, I don't know, not as cinematic, I guess. So with this, it becomes a lot more cinematic. And I'll just go through the layers to tell you what I did to change it. So the first thing I did was I just darkened it and I replaced the sky with a sort of dusky sky. So this gives me new value range to play with in terms of lighting. That wasn't there before. In the second, I added some more atmosphere. You can definitely see it if I turn on the values, that there's just a bit more separation and a bit more atmospheric perspective. Then I added the main light source on the right-hand side. Then I added the God ray, sunbeam, God Darek beam.
Sunbeams and
Darek beams. Some more and some water reflection. It was nice to compositionally add highlights. Then some more plants and some broken glass and stuff. And then I thought the last thing that it's missing is more of a focal point. So to do that, I added the deer, which are pretty much in the brightest part of the composition. I think that just gives it a little bit more storytelling, as Sandara was saying. And yeah, that's it.
So,
awesome, man.
You would have to compose one sentence as an advice for that piece. What it would be?
Mom.
Keep working on it, dude.
I'm not doing a demo.
What?
Sandara, if you feel like there's people or something,
Yeah.
free to mute your microphone when someone else is talking. It's fine. So you don't have to worry about telling it to be quiet. You know.
Sorry. Yeah, because people are coming into work now, so.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's all I have to. Or were you gonna ask me any
We'll
more?
work on it more.
Sorry.
Or I
think
asked you about an advice that you would give to the.
Yeah, I would say if I have to say it in one sentence, look at the video and follow the steps that I did.
Okay.
Because there's still a lot of work on this image, and I can't just simplify it to one thing.
Yeah, I meant just just
Okay.
one.
I would say add mood, add atmosphere,
Add
add
mood,
light.
okay.
Play with light. Just play with light. Just
Yeah,
be a
I
light.
think like Jonas did a really cool starting point for creating a cool lighting scenario that you already did. So that's the good starting point. I mean, he has a lot of details on an overall piece, and it's all like ambient light, even less like there's not so much shadow parts. But yeah, yeah, that's really awesome. I mean,
Yeah, this is
really
just too
awesome.
flat and looks too much like a photo comp.
Yeah.
But there's no interesting values. First of all, look at that. There's no value range. There's no lighting. It's just overcast, which is fine. But generally, that's the most boring lighting that you can get. So you might want to play with it a bit more.
All right. Thank you, man. We are switching back to Sandara right now.
Yeah. I'm just still doing some detailing, adding in the more little dragons in the background. Yeah.
Awesome. You're so fast, and so you can make it look so detailed, at least from this far. And it's still.
It's not really that detailed when you zoom in. Yeah, it's not really that detailed when you zoom in, because.
Yeah, but still, I mean. You probably know that artist Sergei Kolosov. Or his pieces are very popular. They have really different feel to them. It's really a little bit Slavic, I think. So what I want to tell is, I really thought about when you were talking about the previous stage, when you think about what you want to paint. Actually, he's a very good example of doing that. If you go through his sketches, I'm just talking about him because he is also a really popular figure in the digital painting world, and he's also doing that thing, and he's admitting it, that he really strongly visualize it before he actually paints. So you get this really there's a whole story in your head before you paint. So what it enables you to do is actually focus more on just executing the idea, less figuring it out and messing it up. Look at Sergei's work, look at Sandara's work. I think there is a lot of things that you can learn from just looking at their work. I mean, they're so story intense in terms of like there's complex story to them with visuals that are not so complex. I mean, it's really cool to see. So this is like the final stage of your painting process, right? It probably takes the biggest amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it already in terms of composition and lighting and everything, and all that's left is to just do the detailing. Yeah, just to like detail up the forest woman and the guy, and a little bit more of the snakes in the Basically, all that's left is just to zoom in and do the detailing, but the colors and everything is more or less there, I guess.
It's all fixed, and it was all fixed pretty early on. At like first couple of minutes, you established an overall mood and the light. You haven't changed it that much. It was all there from the beginning. So I think it's also important to stress out that.
Yeah, it was pretty much,
Yeah.
just to lock down the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So, are there any books that you can recommend for people to learn from, or there are any inspirational movies or any sources that you can recommend to people that are watching right now to improve, to get inspired, anything like that?
Oh, wow, I don't know. Like, you mean books about drawing and such?
I mean, anything. It may be an inspiration, it may be novel, it may be anything you find inspirational and something that makes you draw, something that makes you inspired, something that, yeah.
Um, I don't really have any like art book recommendations because most of the tutorials and stuff is all online. All the artists like you guys. So for stories, I just like to read like fiction or fantasy books. So, uh, I don't know. I mean, my favorite authors are probably like Terry Pratchett and Robin Hobbs and guys, authors like that. So yeah, just find books which are well written, descriptive, so that you can just imagine what's going on in that world. I guess it helps with the visualization thing.
Yeah, it's a good exercise to get your head working, actually. It's
Yeah.
feeding it with like free visuals. That's also what Feng Zhu was really stressing out in his videos. I remember him telling about there's that cool video from Feng when he is explaining the sources of inspiration and the sources of references. You can find it on YouTube. He goes through books and art books and references books. It's really good to check it out. So
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah, and it goes a lot broader than just books. I think he also talks about, the importance of traveling and things like that.
Yeah,
Taking
of course.
the real world.
Even physical objects like models and like building them from scratch. So there's different sources.
Yeah, I remember him saying that you should build your own visual library. Like when you look at stuff, you remember what they look like, so that when you draw them, you will know instead of like trees or grass or whatever. It's like some students their trees don't look realistic because their mental idea of a tree is actually different from what a real tree is. So so I guess it's like partly observation as well, observation of the real world.
Yeah, and studying
That might
those,
help.
really understanding the mechanics, I mean, organics, about how actually maybe the tree is growing. Why is it splitting? Why is it so high? Why is it so low? Why does it have that amount of branches? It has that amount of branches, yeah. So it all
or just knowing like seeing what it actually looks like, I guess, like how the tree actually grows and what the leaves look like and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's really important to get this to learn it because it opens a whole new possibilities for you as an artist, because once you get all these rules that our world is set in, you can play around with those and do your imaginative stuff however you want. You can play around with your rules to the point that you concept stuff that is really interesting and original. You can play around with different kinds of trees. You can create a forest that doesn't consist of trees but maybe rocks, and there's a lot of concepts that you can switch and mix. And once you get an idea how the world, in particular, I don't know, ecosystems or machines or human bodies working, there's just tons of possibilities you can explore. And that's really fun to do. What Jonas is doing a lot is traveling, and we talked about it a lot before, but I cannot stress enough how important it is to just go out there, see stuff, get inspired, talk to people, get an opinion. Yeah. So, are you a traveler, Sandara? Are you traveling
Yeah,
a lot?
I used to travel quite a bit when I was younger, and yeah, and before I settled down and had a family. Yeah, I used to travel a lot. And yeah, it's really good because you see different things. I mean, in Singapore we are basically just a city. There's no forest, there are no mountains, so it's really something to see a real mountain or experience winter or something like that. Because here we're just a tropical island with nothing.
Yeah, but come on, you can just get to Malaysia or Indonesia so easily. Like, I mean, and there's amazing islands and stuff. And
yeah, but they don't have winter also. And they don't really have like really big mountains. Like I went to Pakistan and Nepal before, and then you see the actually big mountains. Like it's really something, I guess. Yeah. I mean, there's always photos and videos, but it's not the same, I guess.
No, yeah, you have to see it in the real. You have to see the real thing and see real light and real colors and stuff. It's important.
Sandra, if you can, just please do not merge the whole PSD file. So later on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's not merged right now, right? It's a little bit merged, but
the bottom ones are merged though, because my PC can't really handle too many layers.
No problem with that. It's all good. Later on we provide the PSD to people. We put it on the Fullsroda page for you to download. For people to download. So actually, it's really cool to see like the process of creating the piece, so people can play around with the layers, see what happens, and it's really informative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stop flattening my layers.
No, it's all good. I mean, do whatever you feel like doing. I didn't want to break up your workflow. I'm just saying. I mean, for your approach, it's really useful to see layers as a process, because you use the layers in a very organic way.
That's like a nice way of putting it. It's more like your layers are messy.
No.
You know what? People are commenting our voices. I mean, mine and Jonas. It's like a little bit sleepy and zoning out. Dark, are you sleeping?
Yeah, almost.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not 6 o'clock. It's not.
Well, 3 a.m.
Oh no.
I mean, that's devotion. We love a level up.
Yeah.
We love Sandara work. That's the way to do it. The only way.
Sorry, guys. Sorry for making you guys stay up.
We are so thankful that you are here showing us your stuff. I mean, it's just amazing. So, thank you once again. Yeah. Okay, here we go. The face. Nice. So basically for most of your work, do you paint everything, or you use textures, or do you mix and match your workflow for specific needs of the client? How does it work for you? Or you have like one more? Go ahead.
Usually, I use a little bit of texture. Like here, this tree is not that important. It's in the foreground. It's dark, so I just slap a little bit of texture on it, so that it doesn't look so plain. These two trees in the foreground here, because I mean, this foreground here is not that important, but because they're near to us, so I thought it should have a little bit more detail compared to, let's say, this tree in the distance, which has almost no detail at all. So yeah, I do use a little bit of textures every now and then. But most of the time it's just painting.
Yeah, it's just so you use textures just as a backup for your
Just as a backup.
Yeah. Okay.
But you are not using any color balance options or adjustment, as we can see.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you're painting it from scratch. I mean,
yeah, without any corrections with the colors, you know. It's amazing.
Usually I do that right at the end, maybe just a little bit, like bump up the saturation a little bit. Yeah, but I usually leave the color correction right to the end. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, let's see if there's any other questions coming in. Okay. Oh, and you know, there are comments going on about your image, like, oh, what dragons are going to do? Please don't kill the hunter. I mean, you can see that the story lives right now. It resonates. I mean, the people are in there. The people are in this forest among these dragons. Basically, they're feeling the story. I mean, that's a success for a storyteller. That people actually do not comment your technical abilities, but they comment actual events that you painted, which is a huge compliment. I think it's like people got into your piece without any breakups. You're so good at creating that feel. There's nothing between me and story.
Usually my images, I think of the story, but when I post it, I don't post the story, so I just let the people come up with their own story when they look at the image. Yeah.
Of course, that's the thing. You have to tell it through the visuals, right? And it's provocative. It's provoking enough to it's like reading a book, right? You can read this. It's like just the other way around. So basically, in the book, you basically read the book and you come up with visuals. And here it's a different thing. You're like observing visuals, observing the image, and coming up with the story. And some images will do it better than others. And this is the good example. I mean, the best example.
Someone's clicking really loud. That Darek.
Sorry.
Is the Forest Lady gonna save him? Kill him and feed dragons. He murdered the stag. See, there is a whole world to the story. I mean, great storyteller is that. I mean, you probably know Dan Lufisi work. I mean, he's such a good storyteller in terms of telling the story with details, actually, with visuals, with characters, with tiny bits of armor scratched or skills, or all that really cool stuff that is just speaks to the audience, and the people starts to be worried about the character. The people start to be start to think and start to seek for more, which is awesome. What else can storyteller want than people that want the story to continue, that want to live in their story? So that's awesome. Oh, good question. Any tip on studying fundamentals? I mean, it's pretty broad, but
studying fundamentals?
Yeah, studying fundamentals. What do you think?
You mean like doing studies or something? Or having somebody to guide you along?
Yeah, I think, okay, maybe let's tackle just self-practice. Without school, what would you do? What would you focus on first?
Yeah, if
So
there's
without
no
having
school, I
any...
guess. Yeah. I guess you will have to watch some tutorials, or like you follow an artist that you like, and then you try to follow their style or their technique first, and then slowly you grow to have your own style. But you got to start somewhere, so I guess you need to find a mentor or somebody to, to work off first. Before slowly gradually getting into your own style. Yeah.
Okay, so
But I guess doing studies and such is good. Yeah. And then looking at those old oil paintings or whatever, and then just trying to do that digitally. I guess that's good practice. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so you have to know what you like first, right?
Yeah.
To know what you enjoy visually. You can just research that by looking at tons of art and, I don't know, saving those that you really like to the folder. I don't know. Save it as a bookmark, whatever works. It's good
Yeah.
to really have all those inspirational images somewhere just to look at them. If you're in love with some style that, I don't know, some artists are pulling up, you have to go there and really study it close. If you want, I mean, obviously you don't want to copy it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to, if you want that feel to go to your piece, I mean, you just should absorb some of it. And the best way to do it is just to understand it. I mean, what else you do?
Yeah. For me, usually I don't really have like a favorite artist folder, because I'm always afraid of ending up copying them in some unconscious way, even though you don't intend to do it. But yeah, usually I take reference from like either photographs or stuff like that. Not I don't really like to like exactly copy another artist's technique or something, but it's somewhere to start. But once you got your own style, yeah, I try not to do that lah. Basically, to use other artists' work as inspiration. I rather use like photograph or something else, like a story or something like that. Yeah.
Wojtek, I think that I can tell a bit more about the Tropper yet, because I think I'm finished.
Yeah. Sure. Let's switch to your screen. There we go. I think we'll wrap up in a couple of minutes. So, Darek, if you can go through the piece, then
of
we'll
course.
give some final thoughts on your demo, and we'll wrap up and post it and stuff. Okay.
So, to sum up that thing with the Tropper, and we've been talking about the white armor, is more like gathering the colors from all over the place and reflecting the light very, very intensively. So, because this is kind of the armor which is very like a plastic or something, and it's very glossy, and I added one very strong light from the sun in the left corner of the picture, and it enlightened very, very intensively the area of the armor and the helmet, and it just shows how the armor reacts and how colors are built and melted. Even if the armor is white, you can still think and you can still see that the armor isn't brown or red or gray, but it's still white, and you can still have that feeling, the surrounding area, and the colors from the background interact into the colors of the armor, and it just gives you the feeling it suits to the scene right now. So I made some quick corrections with just very, very much highlights of on the curves and on the shapes of the armor, on the edges of the armor, and also suggested some grays in here. You can see it, some grays and some very subtle purple colors, because it still gives you the effect there is some very white armor in it, and it's just quietly gather the colors from the background. So I think it explains as a visual. It explains enough regarding the armors and the colors, because it's I just have to tell it's very difficult to gather the colors on the white armors like this in the very strict conditions and very different light than normal daylight, where the white is hidden between the colors and the value structures. So I think the enriches like a few gray strokes gives the effect of the white colors in it, and yeah, the very shaded parts are never black. So it also suggests you that it can be very white or very light armor.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, you refined it quite well.
Can I share my overpaint? I quickly did another one.
Oh, awesome! Such a productive evening, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
Your voice right now. Okay. You're dying.
Screen, my friend.
Okay, so
Dying out.
yeah. So, oh man, I actually forgot who did this painting, but I'll find it. I always say that. Yeah. So basically, this is a skull warrior or something with some nice haircut, which I removed. And I just thought, yeah, I mean, this image just has too flat lighting. I'm not so worried about the rendering, but I think we can again bring some more cinematic light. And I thought, what kind of lighting palette could I use? And then I thought maybe I can promote Wojtek a little bit, who's been killing it with artwork these days, while I've been here in Belgium doing nothing. So there's this awesome work by Wojtek. Look, wow, it's amazing. So I thought, well, it's Star Wars Day, so I thought maybe he is the evil Star Wars skull friend.
Awesome. That's beautiful.
So now they can be like little friends, Can be like.
Oh man, that matches perfectly.
Little buddies.
That's beautiful.
Start like a comic book or something.
Nice. So, what I see you did as well with the piece before, and what Darek actually did as well, all the pieces seem washed out. Like the person that painted them didn't use that much.
No
values. Yeah, this is not, like you use a whole spectrum of your values, right?
Yeah.
And in here, there's no. Yeah, you need a stronger statement in terms of. Yeah, exactly. In terms of value structure.
Yeah, even if not going into the deep black, you can still use a lot of values range, and going around the mid-tones, using the highlights at the polishes, and very dark values to just deepen the shadows. But yeah, as Wojtek said, everything was washed out with the colors. And I even seen some parts of the canvas on mine, the first versions, like that Photoshoppy canvas without any area layered. So
yeah,
it just showed how it was washed out.
Yeah, exactly. Like not enough dark values were used. All right, let's just jump back to Sandara, and can you give us some
Yep.
final thoughts on the piece?
She made beautiful finished illustration.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think
Less
I'm,
than
I'm
two
pretty
hours.
much done. I'm pretty much done. Yeah, this is pretty much it. You can see the value. So looking at the values, this is the bright point, right? So your eye is immediately drawn to that, and then the rest is the little bit of dragons and such. Yeah, so I think that's it. Just a bit of color adjustment in it. Yeah, that's it. Just bump up the saturation a little bit.
So
Awesome.
Yes.
definitely one of the most epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Beautiful. Really. So, all right. If you enjoy Sandara's work,
Okay.
you should go to DeviantArt and subscribe and be a follower. Check out her stuff out there. I mean, you probably know it.
Yeah,
You're already here.
the
It's too
chances are very
popular
high.
not to know it. Yeah. Yeah. So we will put
Yeah.
this images onto the event page. Then the PSDs will be uploaded to the Fusroda
Yeah.
page. You will be able to download them from there. We will have it sorted out and today or tomorrow. We'll see how we will post
Tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
it. Okay. So thank you guys for coming here, and girls, thank you. Thank you for coming and checking out
Yep.
our another level up session with Sandara. We'll post additional info on the next session.
Yeah, we won't be so sleepy
Yeah,
next time.
awesome work. Awesome work, Sandara.
Yeah, thank you guys. Okay, thanks everyone for inviting me, and yeah, thanks for everybody for to those guys who are watching this. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, that was just awesome. Big thank you
Yeah.
from the community
Yeah.
and from all the people that will watch and
And being the
watching.
first female on our session, so.
Thanks.
And the
Yeah.
first female and the most epic session, so.
Really.
Yeah. Okay, so if you enjoyed, please subscribe and see you guys next week. Bye.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very
Bye.
much,
Bye. Bye.
Sandara.
Thank
Bye.
you.